you were thinking of retiring in 2025, you may think again. And it clearly doesn't matter whether you're American or Canadian or European or from Australia. The world is a volatile place. Now, I truly do believe in retiring the sooner the better. We're here to enjoy our lives. We're here to enjoy those moments with our friends, our families, and all of the great people that we cherish. Time is not here forever either. We know that the average life expectancy is only 76 years of age. So if that puts you at 65, you've literally got 11 summers left. Think about it that way. It's very sobering. So it's very, very important that we consider our retirement, and much sooner than later, hopefully. But 2025 is shaping up to be an absolute bizarre year. I recently just found the latest news that there were some orders that the new incoming administration signed that prohibited Canadians from coming to the U.S. for longer than 30 days without signing a permit. Now, there's lots to talk about here in 2025 for people that are considering retirement. This is one of those for Canadians. Canadians certainly have spent years and years enjoying that cross-border travel. Americans have welcomed Canadians with open arms, and it's been a very mutually beneficial opportunity. You know, Americans enjoy a lot of the profits, the money that comes into the local economies. I know personally a lot of people that I live or own or know or, have worked with throughout the years that own properties in places like Phoenix or Florida. I mean, all over the place, even in California. I know people that own properties in all of these, in certain different states where clearly the weather's a lot more agreeable. We have, 5 or 6 months of snow, as you'll notice around me here in a given year. And so it's nice for a lot of the snowbirds to get away. And especially once you retire, they're thinking about it. But unfortunately, this year is shaping up to be a bit different because now the latest order that was signed means that Canadians now have to sign on a registry and have to be registered. And there may be, in coming days or weeks or months, that may prove to be even more of a challenge in Canadians coming across the border to enjoy, months of sunny weather. Of course, a lot of people like to leave sort of in the fall when things start getting bad, October, November, and then kind of return back in the spring. Now, with that said, things are changing. And on top of that, Canadians now, they're showing with this immediate change, the shift, as well as the value of the dollar, the Canadian dollar with reference to the US dollar now has been never this terrible. We're talking about 67 cents to every dollar means Canadians and far less Canadians are now traveling to the US. How much less? Well, a lot less. They're even talking that profits or the economy has benefited to as much as $20 billion from Canadian visitors, as well as it contributes to jobs. There's a lot of jobs, there's small businesses locally that thrive on a lot of these tourists. Well, these tourists aren't coming because of two reasons. Number one, this executive order, and number two, largely because even the exchange rate means that less Canadians are traveling now to the US. It's a sad state because this is just where we're at, and a lot of people hoping to start their retirement off to a bang are finding themselves, hang on now, may not even be able to stay there for 6 months. And unlike, or exactly like we saw back in 2020, when we had all those lockdowns, a lot of people were finding themselves not able to go anywhere. I knew numerous people that had freshly retired and couldn't actually travel. They took their retirement in the fall of 2019, and then we all know what happened in 2020, and the lockdowns hit, and nobody could move. They couldn't go anywhere, they couldn't travel, and it felt like a wasted year where they couldn't get anywhere. So that's what a large part of retirement is. A lot of people like to get on the planes, trains, and automobiles and get away from, whether it's society or their place. They like to change the weather, scenery. They just want to get out there and travel. But things have clearly been changing. And this year promises to be a real shakeup. Now you say, okay, this is just a Canadian problem. Well, I do believe this could be a U.S., American, this could be a worldwide problem as well. So retiring in 25 means that travel could be somewhat problematic. We know there's all kinds of challenges, conversations, as well as what's going on with Europe relations, with, of course, American, Canadian, Mexican, all kinds of weird anomalies and relationships there. We've always loved going to the U.S. and, You know what? We've always had a wonderful time. I love it down there personally. I love doing the road trips down to California. Get on the I think it's the 15, and just hit the road and throw on some great tunes. And I've always enjoyed that. And those are memories that I've had and cherish continually. I hate to think, though, that is changing. And it feels as though some of that is changing right from under our noses. The unfortunate part is how this impacts, for example, on the other end, on the American side, is, as I already mentioned, a lot of the economy has benefits from Canadians spending money down there. Canadians are bringing some of their money. And unfortunately, I've heard of as well, a lot of Canadians now are dumping their properties. I'm hearing in Florida, a lot of people are absolutely unloading their houses. A lot have certainly bought houses in places like Phoenix, some of those parks, those old, older 55 plus parks, or certainly those park trailers or homes in Florida. And a lot of real estate is owned by Canadians. Well, the way it stands right now, it looks like the word is many Canadians are vastly evacuating some of these states for various reasons. Some of it is increasing costs of insurance, because we know in Florida and the hurricanes and things that have been going on there, insurance rates have been skyrocketing. But some of it as well is the exchange rate. And now, unfortunately, with this last conundrum and the relationships and some of the challenges that Canadians have had on the exchange, but also on what's going on and the boycotts. And I don't like politics. I never have, and I don't even want to talk politics. I just have to talk at it from a retiree's perspective. And that if you're thinking of retiring in 2025, just know that it's full of all kinds of ups and downs and hurdles, way more than we've ever seen, way more than we've seen for quite some time. Now, with that said, I still believe in retiring, the sooner the better. If you're ready to retire, just do it. That being said, there's a lot of people that are maybe pushing that off, thinking 2025 could be a wacky year. We know already in Canada, the Liberal Party literally just handed off the baton to a whole new candidate. This Mark Carney is now taken over for Trudeau. You've all heard about it. It's the latest news. But realistically, from most people's perspective, it's more of the same old thing. You had vanilla yogurt before, you're going to have vanilla yogurt again. Now, whether you're talking politics or not, whether it's good or bad or beneficial or not, really not the question. The real conversation is it's likely going to stay the same. And we all know that in places like Canada, we see unemployment rate is climbing. We're seeing rates at 7-8% across different provinces. And with some of these changes, and of course some of this going on with what's going on with some of the car business and companies like Honda, General Motors, Stellantis, Ford, some of these manufacturers are starting to move their productivity down into the US as per some of these federal orders and the current administration. With that said, there's going to be a vast amount of more job loss. We're seeing taxation at record levels that we've never seen. There's taxes on GST, PSD, HST, property tax. We're seeing income tax, federal, provincial. We're seeing taxes, carbon taxes, luxury taxes. I mean, the list goes on and on. If there's one thing that you can say about Canadians, they're taxed to the hilt. And with that, when you're taxed, that just means ultimately you have less money to go around. A lot of Canadians have to play this constant game of shuffling between the CPP, the old age security, company pensions, RRSPs, TFSAs, and trying to find the best blend of not giving some of that money back, not extensively. Everybody pays their taxes, but when you're in retirement, if you don't plan it right, you can end up giving your old age security away and some of your other benefits. You have to find a happy medium. The way things are shaken out right now, with the fact that what's happening in the world as we know it today, it does beg the question, is this in fact the right year to retire? Well, as far as I'm concerned, I still go past the politics. I try to live my own day-to-day life, and you have to live your life most beneficial for you. Nobody wants to live a life that it means you're restricted and you're locked down and you're not going to enjoy your time. You have to enjoy your time. We only have one go at this. And we know that life is short. We know that people aren't here forever. And when we see, those loved ones around us, unfortunately start to go away, it's just a stark reminder that while many of us are chasing the dollar, trying to climb the corporate ladder, there's still many others that believe, life is worth living. and the corporate game is simply not worth it. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'd love to see you all really, really soon. 2025, absolutely retire if you can. Hope to see each and every one of you. See ya. Bye-bye.